Welcome to the first episode of the Day After podcast, Love is Blind recap on the Reality After Show channel. How's everyone doing here?
We're doing good. We're doing good. I'm excited to be a part of the family over here among so many great talented people. Yes, I am Ryan Neo Wayne. I am a actor out in California, and that's a little bit fun fact about me. Big Survivor fan, a big Big Brother fan, and now I am being introduced to Love is Blind. So season 7 is my first season of Love is Blind. So I'm coming into this with a very fresh perspective of everything.
Yeah, and I'm Tanya Vance. I was on Survivor many, many years ago. Big Brother fan. I love that. I watched the finale last night, and huge Love Is Blind fan as well. So I'm excited to be here and talk about it.
Yep. And I'm Joe King. I'm a awfully bad stand-up comedian. Just terrible. um,
Worse than
and
Arthur Fleck.
Yeah. And I got into Love is Blind actually earlier this year when I was playing an online game with Tanya and I needed to bond with her strategically. So I watched Love is Blind so I could have a conversation topic that wasn't just strategy with her.
And you liked it, right?
I
So
did.
good.
I was having a blast.
It's so funny.
But yeah, no, I think we have a nice like mix of different perspectives. We got Tanya who has watched, the whole thing, loves it from the beginning. We got Ryan who's new, and then there's kind of me who I kind of joined a little bit, a little bit ago. I've been watching them kind of on and off here, but yeah, no, I'm excited for us all to talk about this crazy season.
Oh yeah. We're only going to be talking about the first 3 episodes in this episode, and yeah, I've been liking what I'm seeing so far. There are definitely some
Mhm.
characters. There's some decisions that people are making where I'm just like, they're not thinking.
Yeah.
Uh, I'll name drop him now. Leo. Leo irritates me. I'm like, oh,
Every
you're
season they have to cast a douchebag asshole who like no one likes, who you're just like, please girls, don't end up with him.
I
For
wouldn't even
sure.
give
He is
him
definitely
that.
that guy.
I'm just like, he's just saying things, and I'm like, why would you? Do you think this is going to work out? Do you think they're not
Yeah,
going to talk about this when it's
yeah,
known that you're talking to these two ladies and they share
yeah,
quarters? You
yeah,
don't think that they're going to look out for one another? Like, come on.
yeah. Wait till you watch the previous season with this guy called Matthew, who is just like the craziest person. Like you can't imagine they would cast this person on a dating show.
Oh dear.
Well, even worse than him is what was the one who was on House of Villains with Johnny Fairplay? Oh gosh,
um,
the veterinarian. You may
veterinarian.
not know. You may. Okay, go back and watch
Mhm.
him. You will be like, oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Yeah, the worst.
Yeah. It's I mean, you got to cast some of these villains on reality TV. Like
Yeah.
it does make the early like pod stuff like more entertaining is like how like how is anyone even buying this? Like that's the what weird thing is like the girls end up buying it, the guys buy any of the weird things the girls are doing. Like it's so, you know, it, it's a show that like you want to go further because there is incentive the further you go in this kind of show. So you kind of have to like cipher through who's actually here to be on the TV and who's actually here for what they call the right reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No. But yeah, let's dive into so like me coming into this, I thought like, well, one, it's a really big cast.
Hmm.
There are some people that I forget are there
Yeah.
watching it, and it's something where I'm like, ooh, this person looks cool, and we just never hear from them.
Yep.
Which I know mean does not fare well for them, apparently.
Yeah, they really do give the edit to the people who end up either getting into couples or as like a really like juicy storyline of are they going to be with this person or that person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so based off of the first 3 episodes, like who do you think is currently having the best chance to actually like have found their person in the pods? Because I think there's like one couple who I think is like, in my opinion, clearly, like I would bet money if I could go on to a betting site, I would bet money that they are likely to say yes in the final episodes.
Can I
Um,
guess who you're about to say?
yeah, sure.
Are you gonna say Ashley and Tyler?
That's my second choice.
Okay.
That's my second.
Taylor
I
and
think,
Garrett
What did
are
you
my
say?
favorite.
uh,
Ashley and Tyler's who I asked them about, but Taylor and
mhm.
Garrett are my favorite.
That those are the two I think that are going to end up saying yes,
Yeah.
and I think Ashley and Tyler have a good chance. But I would say like I'm like 99% confident in Garrett and Taylor. Ashley and Tyler, I'm like 80%.
Okay. No, for sure Taylor and Garrett are my favorite. They're
Yeah,
my favorite so far. Their little nerdy tattoos, like
yeah,
they
Yeah.
like
uh,
they just get each other and they're
yeah,
so unique, and for them to like
yeah,
have so much chemistry, so to speak, even though it
yeah,
is chemistry, I think, tattooed on them,
yeah.
is very it makes you feel like that they're the perfect match.
Yeah, I just love that Garrett looks like Chris Evans, like if he was on a dating show. Like he looks,
Yeah.
Yes, he really does.
Uh,
He's a good looking guy. Yeah. And
yeah,
she's beautiful. If they're like together, there's something about her demeanor. Like she just the way she, I don't know, she's confident, she's
hmm,
beautiful, and she's sweet. So
yeah.
that's like to me my
Yeah.
favorite.
I felt like they were asking all the right questions. Like sometimes like you get like the couples who end up just asking like weird random stuff that don't really mean anything to like how they're going to work as a relationship. But it felt like they were
yeah.
like, let's actually like think about like what we need like structure wise almost of like how we should be building this.
Absolutely. No, they're my favorite couple. I will go down and say right now that's my favorite.
Hmm.
Yeah. You know me, I love some nerdy love. So like I always root for that.
Yeah.
Same, same. Now Hannah, what do you think about her?
I think she's a very sweet girl. But I mean, I just don't like the choices that she ends up going with here. She's kind of between Leo and Nick D-bag over there. Like everyone just was so against Nick on the girl side. Like they were like, you can't be with him. And then I'm like over here going, her other option's Leo, right? Right?
Yeah.
Choose Nick, choose Nick. Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and I think Nick just got a bad rap because
Yeah.
sometimes you can't turn it off because like you're talking to someone. And if you're someone that is naturally a smooth talker, then it's hard to like kind of like tone that down. And it's like one of those things where he's saying a lot of the right things, but like I guess like he's not, like sometimes it's interpreted as disingenuous or like,
Hmm.
oh, it's a move, like everything is a
Yeah.
move. And so like that gave a lot of the women an ick, except for one. Well, it even gave her the ick and then was like, yeah, I'm cutting off the connection.
Yeah.
And like he was almost like, just eliminated right then and there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I don't have high hopes of them getting together or like Hannah's just like her love interest is she just got a bad two people who end up being her top two. Like it kind of kind
Well,
of
so
made,
I
last season we
honestly,
can, oh, sorry.
oh, go ahead.
I know you didn't see last season, Ron, but like last season, there was a girl, Chelsea, that was kind of confident, like Hannah is. And like if you notice, Hannah was describing herself like, "Oh, I was like the cheerleader dating the captain of the football team." And da, da, da. I don't know. I think
Mhm,
she's really blowing up how she looks. I do think she's a pretty girl,
mhm.
but I think she's like really, I don't want to say exaggerating, but doing a little bit of like what Chelsea did, like with the Megan Fox comment. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like she is Chelsea this season.
Yeah, I can see them honestly being like the day before the Ultron was just like how that went out, where it's just
Yeah,
like let's just get as close as we can and then stop.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I don't
what I
know.
think too.
I like a good underdog story. So I feel like with those two, like, if they get to that point, granted, I've only really seen up until episode 4. We're recording we're talking about the first 3 episodes. So if we jump ahead, bear with us.
Mhm,
But I do feel like with them, I don't know, there's something about the story where, she restored the connection and then it's one of those things
mhm,
where you see him really try. And, he only has a connection with her, where Leo is double dipping with her and Brittany. And On surface level, it looks like her and Brittany have like a him and Brittany have like a good thing, or it's like if you were to give me, the bios and the pictures of everyone, and I
Mhm.
was to guess who probably would get together, these two seem like they would get together, just based off of vibes alone.
Yeah.
But we see this conflict with Leo, and he's extremely open about it to the point where I'm like, why would you say this? Like it's kind of funny because, Love is Blind, the way I see it, it's like, it's a small social institution where you know these 15 people on the other side. You've at least talked to them once. And so like everyone knows everyone on the other side. And so people are comparing notes. You see them, they got
Mhm.
the notebooks and everything. So it's like, and I know especially women got to stick together, they got to look out for each other. And especially if you're giving people the ick, you're giving red
Yeah.
flags. And I don't know if Leo is not self-aware in the moment or doesn't realize how he's coming off, and maybe he's watching this season and is like, oh man, I kind of see why I didn't, you know, things didn't pan out for me. If that
Yeah.
is the case, it's like that's why, because it's like, dude,
Yeah.
what the heck?
But it's okay. Leo is making a lot of money. He's flaunting his wallet around, letting everyone know. His
Yeah,
his Rolexes, all that kind of stuff. Just he needs to let you know.
at least with the guys, like when he's opened up a little bit with the ladies, then
Mhm.
he drops that bomb. But I
Yeah.
think it's smart. But in the rooms, and these are only women you're talking to. It's like I feel like I don't know how many days they're in when they come to a certain point. I don't see like the days, but I feel like if you're talking to them and you're talking seriously, finances obviously will come up.
Yeah.
So definitely, previous
Mhm.
seasons it's broken couples up when they finally get in the real world and they discuss finances and people have broken up over bad credit or just like the woman has more money the man it becomes an issue. So that's definitely something that should be talked about, but I
Mhm.
feel like he is more bragging. And
Yeah.
I think he knows that Brittany is like a sugar, like she likes a sugar daddy. She admits that.
Yeah.
And I think that he sees that and doesn't really want that, but at the same time thinks, oh, she's probably hot then. Because, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like
Yeah.
that may come into play.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like he would probably go to Brittany if it was like she was at the bar and he was going to go hang out, like have like a one night thing where he treats her well and then that's it. But because it's marriage, you kind of don't want to get into a relationship with someone who it seems perceives like that's what they're doing. And I do feel like Brittany probably was on here mostly for the show aspect more so than she was the one looking for a potential husband.
Yeah.
I agree.
And I think that's always the thing going into any of these shows or any of these love shows. Like, not everyone is doing it. Some people just want that screen time or they love the show and it was like, oh, it'd just be cool to be a part of it.
Mhm.
Which also I think is a reflection of dating apps, actually. Some people go on there just to have fun, some people
Mhm.
do it for affirmation. And, there are people that do take it seriously. I feel like if you want your 15 minutes, there are better avenues, but if you like stirring the pot and like
Mhm.
something like that, maybe it is. But like, I'm like, let's leave it to the people right trying to find love. This is
Yeah.
their, I don't want to say their last chance, but like, it's like if you're signing up for the show, you're like, okay, I'm ready to just throw myself into something crazy.
Mhm.
Um, because all these people are trying to, you know, like all these people or like the people that are taking seriously are like, like, hey, you hear different stories like this stuff hasn't worked for me in the past, or I'm having trouble finding connections, or I've been basing things off of looks. So, maybe they're like grown as a person at that point. They're like they're
Mhm.
open to it. Yeah.
Yeah. I love Marissa personally too.
Mhm.
She's one of my favorites. And I'm not sure, is his name Bowden?
Yeah,
Is that how you say his
Bowden.
name?
Yeah.
Bowden. I hope she picks Bowden because I love him.
Mhm.
Um, so for me, they make such a good match.
Yeah.
Um, but um, I just love her personality. There's something about her that just kind of radiates. So she's one of my also on my favorite list.
Yeah, I definitely like the Bowden Marissa pairing more than the Ramsey Marissa pairing.
Yeah,
I just feel like there's a little insecurity there with Ramsey's about it, whereas Bowden is a little more like he's a little more confident. He's just like, you know what, let's like I want you to figure it out and like do it. Like he's giving her the agency, which I respect.
I
Yeah,
do
I
too.
don't know. I think it's one of those things too where, when Ramsey he hit, he starts speaking in Spanish and stuff. I know, like, it's
Mhm.
like eh, you see it in her, like she like giggles a little bit. She thinks it's like very, very cute and stuff like that. And I feel like it's it's like the charm that Ramses has, and it just like it goes through the pods and they can like feel it. And I mean, like, I think another thing is like he is older as well. So I feel like he has that going for him. I did like Bowden too. Like,
Mhm.
I think it was cool.
Yeah,
Grant, he had a Sonic tattoo. I'm like, this guy all the way.
I love
But
him.
alas,
Yeah, I love him. They
stuff
seem
is
like more like brother and sister kind of there, like I guess.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling if she does end up with Ramsey, that she's going to like uh, in previous seasons when they finally meet up with the whole cast. I want to see what their first her reaction is if she does end up with him and meets
Yeah.
Bowden. Like, will she be disappointed? Will she, So I'm excited to see who she picks and
Yeah.
then their first interaction, like when they meet outside the pods, when she is coupled up. So it'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see.
Yeah, what can also be really interesting is when there is these double connections like this, like even when they're still on the show, connect, like, going through the process the next few weeks, they might meet up with the person who they said no to. And, that draws so many red flags, regardless of what actually they were doing or talking about. Like,
yeah.
it can definitely, so I feel like there's a chance that whoever gets a no, we're definitely going to see them appearing later to some
Yeah,
degree.
All right.
me
Like
too.
I said, I'm very new to this show. So like I know the first half. That's the part I know, and I know eventually they marry. But like, what is the framework of this? So like the people that said no, they at least come back in the next phase or like near the wedding. Like, how does that work?
Yeah, so basically once they've all coupled up, they kind of like let them they first there's like a honey like a vacation honeymoon
Trip.
trip kind of thing where they all get to like hang out, all the couples hang out and get to know each other. And then after that they go into their real lives, they figure out like what house they're staying at. And they basically just kind of like learn what it would be like to live with each other and all that kind of stuff. And occasionally, like they'll, through that they might be talking to people from the cast because now they have their phones again, they have all the access
They
to the
meet up
outside
at
world.
bars. Yeah,
Yeah.
they purposely have little get-togethers where they meet up at bars and they start introducing people that talked a lot that weren't coupled up and then try to see their reaction because it's production. They want to see the juicy stuff happen, see if they can break
Yeah.
up the relationships, and so they'll start incorporating the people that they talk to in the pods and see what their reaction is when they finally get to meet them.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the show loves to have just one couple that makes it in a season. Like they like to have that one main storyline because then it makes that couple feel more special. At least that's how I've kind of seen it while I've been watching. But yeah.
Okay.
Same.
Uh, that is curious because like I think the social experiment, it's intriguing. Um, but it's like, yeah, it's like because we even see like in a lot of other reality shows where it is stating that they don't, sometimes it doesn't last. Like Golden Bachelor, it felt like they were together for like a month, if
Mm-hmm.
that, and then it just ended. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, so I will say I'm a hopeless romantic. So like I want love to persevere. So like as long as it's not toxic and there are some there where I'm like, it could be, but they haven't given the signs yet. Like, I
Um,
think if Leo matches up with anyone, I will be very, very concerned. But
yeah.
like, it's one of those things where, I want them all to make it. Like everyone find love. Not
Yeah.
participation trophies, but like, come on.
No, I love it too. I love love. That's one of the reasons I love this show. Like I smile and laugh the whole time I'm watching it. Like even when it's Leo, like I'm like, oh my gosh.
Mhm.
But no, I love love. So it's fun just to hear them interact and to flirt. And then like it's heartbreaking in the pods when they're confused and trying to decide between who they want to pick. It really does like make you feel for the person that's so in love with them that doesn't get picked. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's a good show. It draws out a lot of emotion, and you always want your favorite couples to make it. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate love. I love heartbreak. That's why I watch the show.
oh my
You see,
goodness.
for the people that are watching and not just listening, there's a reason why I'm dressed in all black and Joe is wearing all white. He is like, I am the very sentimental, like, yes, yes, yes. And like, he's someone where, like we're opposites when it comes to approach for a lot of things. He's a lot more intellectual. I'm more emotional. I love love. He wants to watch the world burn.
Oh my gosh.
But no,
Oh, I
um,
have on black
but
too. I'm on your page. Yeah.
Yeah.
no, uh, no, I would say like, and I think it was cool. Like, I didn't know, for me going into this, I didn't know the pacing of the show. I didn't know if
Mhm.
like everyone just like at a certain point just like oh it's like oh are they locking in but like so like when Taylor locked in pretty fast, which I was a little surprised because she seemed very very reserved in the beginning. And I mean like
Hmm.
they had that discussion too where he was like hey like I feel like you're holding back and that's making me a little worried going forward and stuff because all you really have is the information that you're talking. It's like what else are you doing except for talking to other people? It's like the information's coming back. You're trying to do this, you're trying to, what's the right word? You're trying to find your soulmate. And
Mhm.
Yeah.
to be honest, like, I don't blame her for like, wanting to hide her ethnicity and stuff like that, because I feel like, I think that's also like just a special little surprise where it's like, you don't know like anything. Like, I will say that when she did say that, it made her more likely to be a person of color just naturally because, like, I
Hmm.
feel like, because, like, if, if I said that my mother's name was Samantha, that would be like, okay, that could be like anyone. But if it was something that was like more specific to, a certain culture, that would definitely tip someone off. It's like, oh, okay, this person is, Hispanic, this person is Asian, etc.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
worried me at first that he was not going to be okay with it when she wouldn't share her mother's name. Like he
Yeah.
seemed a little, he said he'd never dated, I think, outside of his race, and it did worry me for a minute.
Uh-huh.
Like, but then he seems like he's okay with it again. So
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Let's talk about Ashley and Tyler for a little bit here because we've mentioned them a little bit, but yeah, I mean, from what I'm getting, I feel like they're like the number two couple of the season. Like they're probably going to get the second most screen time, is what I would assume. I think Garrett and Taylor are going to be the main focus point of a lot of everything, but I feel like Ashley and Tyler, I just see like. I see those two and I'm like this works, but I also could be like I can see potential things in their real life like end up coming up or something. Like I'm not
Yeah.
convinced fully that it's going to work out yet.
yeah,
I
they're
don't
for
know.
sure
Like,
likable.
Yeah,
go ahead, Tanya.
Oh, I was just saying they're for sure very likable as a
yeah,
couple. They seem like they get along. Like as far as like their interactions and stuff, they really have gotten along probably better than anybody. So I
hmm
am rooting for them.
I'm more like, no, I feel like they had like such a, and it could be like they're in the pod. So obviously with the edit and everything, they're showing like their best moments and they're showing the moments of like, hey, this is like where the love leading up to like, the proposal is at its apex. So like,
hmm
I will say, like, yeah, it's tough for me to like just base it just off of that because it's that and love. I don't want to say unfortunately, but love and what's something that can like end it and stuff like that is these real life things as um we've seen on previous seasons. So I don't know. I'm like I said, I'm always rooting for love, always, and I don't see any immediate icks from each other.
yeah,
So I think if it's more than one, I think they're another solid good choice.
Yeah.
yeah. Definitely, definitely. Um, Okay, how about Monica and Steven? What are your thoughts on those two? Steven, who spent most of his life thinking he was Italian, turns out, he's got
Oh,
some
bruh.
yeah, he's got some African descent in there. And he did his research and that really spoke to Monica's heart.
Well, I think
I I don't buy that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's very
he,
little to
I,
have that red hair.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like,
Yeah, there's no way that the percentage he said is the truth.
he looks very, 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 very Irish.
Yeah.
yeah, very.
Like I don't know, like there. That's always the thing too, because me also watching the show for the first time, I'm so used to like everyone getting confessionals outside of it, so like you kind of know, but like I can see it either way. I can also see like I can see it as something of like, okay, maybe to kind of like woo her a little bit, picking up on those vibes as well. I might be foggy. Did he say that he voted for Trump?
Yeah, yeah. He voted for Trump in
I can't remember
2016
that.
and then Biden in 2020.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah,
We're not
yeah.
gonna we're not gonna get too into the politics here. But I know like sometimes if you disagree on the political things, that can be a big ick. Now, if he was lying, that could be a way to kind of like backtrack a little bit because, like, if it's true, it's super sweet. It's like, but like, there are some people when they discover certain parts of their roots or, like they do explore it because, oh, they didn't know this part about them. Especially when you get older, I feel like you kind of appreciate that stuff a little bit more. Where when you're younger, oh, it's just normal. So you just gloss over. But like, other than him, he just discovered it.
Hmm.
Which, if that was the case, that would be pretty shocking, being like, oh, the math isn't mathing, but you know what? I'm going to learn a lot about this anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like for me with them, they don't seem to me like a good match, like just
Yeah.
visually and interaction wise. I just don't see them in the real world like making it. That's just you know, that's
Hmm.
based off looks, which is not the concept of the show. But for me, I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
don't see it.
I will say fundamentally, and I will probably bring this up in future episodes. Love is not just like, oh, the romance and stuff. And obviously that's why some of these couples don't get together at the very end because they realize it's how much are you willing to fight for it? How much are you willing to like, have this give and take and stuff like that? Um, Time will tell, I will say for this. I would say it is a little bit of a question mark. I don't want to outright be like, oh no, 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 no. I think it's I would say like it's in the middle of that little slide bar. Like, how do you feel strongly about this? I would say like it's right smack dab in that three mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I would. I don't think it's gonna end up happening. Like just like statistic wise, like I see at least two to three other couples that are just more likely to make it than them. So once you're kind of on the bottom half of that, I'm just like, okay, you're gonna be here for filler to like have a dramatic breakup in the middle of the season, and then that's it.
Yeah, as soon
Yeah,
as I hear her say like he's not somebody I would normally pick in the real world, I'm like, oh yeah, they're not gonna make it. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. Like, I mean, sometimes they do, but I don't know. Like, I just based on what her criteria has been in the past, I thought, yeah, when she meets him, I don't see it connecting. So it'll be exciting to see if they do because right now I'm feeling a vibe that when she meets him, we'll see if she really is as happy as she is in the pod. So
Hmm. Definitely, definitely. Okay, and then we have one more couple we haven't talked about yet. That's Alexandra and Tim. The birds and the bees.
I thought that was cute.
that's so cute. So cute. I
Yeah,
I loved him. I think he's so sweet and
yeah,
precious. I have this feeling Alex will eat him up. Like she
yeah,
seems so confident and
Maybe.
not in a mean way, but I just feel like she's used to like she has a stronger force and I just worry that she'll eat him up. But I actually the virgin beef it was so cute. So cute.
yeah. Yeah, I don't have too much problems with them. Now they one of their huge bonding points, obviously, that they talked about was religion. Like they kind of really bonded over that, and I feel every time we've seen a couple on Love Is Blind, where their main thing that they focus on is their religious connection. It just something ends up happening in the real world because they're so focused on this one aspect instead of how to properly build it. Kind of like how we were talking with Garrett and Taylor. Like they didn't
Hmm.
a lot of times they don't build the proper steps to keep the relationship going.
Absolutely.
Mm.
I will say, just like in the sense, all right, so I don't know if this is overshare. I'm agnostic, but at the same time, like even as agnostic, I do understand how much of a bonding thing because like
Mm.
religion is such like a core part, like people who are religious of their life that it's good to find someone with those morals if you have them and stuff. So I think especially in your pods, and I definitely think in the modern age as well, that those are important things to like look out for. But I agree, it shouldn't be like the sole focus. I don't
Mhm.
necessarily think, and obviously it's the edit, so
Yeah.
we're only all right, religion, stuff like that. Like we're only seeing a small part of the edit. I'm sure there were other things. It's not just like you Christian, Christian? All right. Really married? No, it's not just that. I think but like the part where and when they're doing the painting and stuff, because I feel like that's obviously like their most important, or I wouldn't say their most important, but like that's the scene that really was like nice to watch between that was the most memorable part for me up until that point
Mhm.
was them all right, she's coming back.
Yeah.
Uh there you are.
Welcome
Sorry
back.
about
But like
that. Somehow I got cut out. I was like,
when we
what?
see them paint and everything, we start to hear their back and forth because
Yeah.
like it's those kind of talks, that kind of chemistry that I think is really what builds, these relations and stuff. And I feel like when they were having this back and forth, you really felt it. Um,
Hmm.
so that's kind of like my 2 cents on that.
It's Jonny Fairplay, reality TV icon, Survivor Hall of Famer, and I'm talking today about Work Money. Work Money is a non-profit organization that focuses on lowering costs and raising incomes for all Americans to make American life more affordable and American families more economically secure. They provide products, services, perks, benefits, tips, and tools to help members improve their financial lives. It's time to level up and make more money in this economy. We're talking getting rich. Now, this sweepstakes is giving away $50,000. You can use this to pay your rent, your mortgage. Imagine what you can do with all the money that you'll save. Now, this is put on by Work Money, and this site has all these sick benefits, and it's free. Go sign up right now and get more rich. Now, listen, you can change your life. Now, what would you do if you didn't have to pay your rent or mortgage for a year? Listen. Sign up right now for free. Link is available right here in the show notes. Check them out. Personally, I'd get more pinball machines. I'm Jonny Fairplay. I wouldn't lie about that. It's work money. More money.
Okay.
I like
Also
all the
love downturns.
criers. The men this season have cried a lot, and I'm
Uh-huh.
here for it. My husband never cries. I'm like, give me some emotion. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like last season, all the guys were just a bunch of idiots doing a bunch of dumb things all the time. And then this season, we got everyone's way more emotional. I wonder if there was a casting decision that they made because I know that Nick Lachey did not like the guys from last season.
Really?
Yeah, he went in on them at the reunion show. Like he
Mm.
did not like them.
That's
so
funny.
so yeah, I wonder if there's something along those lines. Uh,
Could be. Like the men are so emotional and they've had a lot of tragedy, and I feel like it's good because the couples that are there have bonded over it. So it
mhm.
does feel like a lot of them are making connections, like deep connections, and really um, revealing like their past and like talking through things. Like there was a lot of heartbreaking stories. So I
Mhm.
Yeah.
always root for them, you know?
And I also feel like that's another thing too. Like, all right, Tanya, this is also how I'm learning. Tanya and I are meeting for the first time. But like, you are married, correct?
Yes,
How long have you been married?
since 2016. So 8 years.
Yeah, the modern dating scene can be very bleak. There's these apps, and like even with dating sometimes, and this is could be just one person's opinion or one person's experience with it. Sometimes it's tough to get that vulnerable so soon, or like I wouldn't
Hmm.
say, like, and it's like also it's like you don't want to feel like you're trauma dumping is such like a huge term right now. And then it's like, you're also out and about in your life, and then like if you're bringing in some of this stuff, and like when you bring that in, and like some people and guys, they fear being vulnerable because they don't want to be hurt. But the thing is, it's like there is power in vulnerability. And I think like even now, even if that is a known fact, and like this could be a thing for women as well, but like for, guys, sometimes it's like tough because sometimes, you know, it could be like how we're raised, it could be how, you know, you don't want to emotionally invest too much in something because what if it doesn't turn out right, and then you kind of like put all that energy into it, and it sucks when it doesn't get reciprocated, or sucks if it doesn't get pan out. So some people are afraid to put that out there, be that vulnerable, because like if it's out there and you both are, and then they don't choose you, you're
Yeah.
left destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when
Not talking about
you're
personal experience.
yeah, well, when you're separated like this, in the pods, I mean, like you need to really kind of open up that vulnerability
Yeah,
side because in the real world with the dating apps, you have the looks that is what brings people in. But now with how they do it, you don't have that luxury if you're
yeah,
really attractive. So you have to have some level of to you that like brings you in that's not just this baseline. I'm attractive, I'm rich, like a lot of that kind of stuff is like whatever, let's actually get to know you first.
yeah.
Yeah.
It focuses more on the chemistry.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think it's like being there, like all the girls together, all the guys together, knowing that your competition, like if you really are in love with the person and, knowing that another girl that you're sharing time with, a lot of times they're not super close, but they're always looking at each other and stuff. I wonder what the tension's like when you
Yeah.
do know that that person's dating the same person and how they get along. Like, I feel like they don't show it a whole lot. Like they show a little drama, but I just wonder if there's more drama behind the scenes because I feel like it definitely would bother you
Mhm.
knowing that somebody's telling you they want to be with you, but they're also telling someone else that.
Yeah. I feel like, well, obviously, I feel like that's the meat and potatoes, and like my takeaway of going this. Like the thing that was like in my mind the most, even though there's a lot of good love and stuff like that, is like the love triangle with Leo, Brittany, and Hannah. Like,
Mhm.
because like, yeah, I mean, that was the cliffhanger for the third. Granted, we're doing this in, 3 episodes at a time. So like obviously the release order was different, but it's something where obviously it's the editors were like, we have this many episodes, we need to focus on that. But I'm sure like because there are a lot of like different edits or different people that haven't like we've barely heard from, or like, oh
Yeah.
hey, we finally learned their name or reminded of their name. They're like, yeah, Hannah, I told her my name, or I told her my height,
Mhm.
and she was like, no. Um,
Yeah.
which that's just their edit. So obviously that is drama, but I'm pretty sure like in the pods there is that footage obviously of them talking, and then like maybe Hannah having a reaction of like that news was like, oh,
Mhm.
um, and then it ended then there.
Yeah, I mean, I do think the editing has gotten better since season one. If you watch season one, it's like they would know each episode. They're like, okay, someone's got to get married by the end of it, or propose. So let's have like introduce them essentially that episode, and then have two main storylines that you see besides that, and then it's just like then randomly this one person episode three suddenly talks for the first time, and then they get married, so they get
Yeah,
proposed, and it's just like what just happened. At least now it's like they try to build, they don't just say we need to rush in and have every episode have a proposal.
absolutely. Like, yeah. And so, Ryan, I don't know if when Joe was explaining like the different scenarios of how it works, so they only pick like, is it five couples, four or five, to take the trip to Mexico? So I always wonder, is it the first 4 or 5 that get engaged that get to go? So does that put pressure on them to want to hurry so that
Mhm.
they get to do the trip and get on the show? So I don't
Mhm.
know how that works, but it would be interesting to know the behind the scenes to see if that's why some of them get engaged quicker because they want to make it on the show.
Yeah. Yeah, it's possible. I mean, so there are people who like it's like day 3 or 4 and they're proposing.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
That got my dad beat. He proposed to my mom in two weeks,
Oh, I
and this was
love it.
without pods.
That is so sweet though. And they're
They
obviously like,
didn't
are they still
last.
together? They didn't. Oh, well, they had you, so that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Some might disagree with you.
Such a cynics. No, you're great.
Thank you, thank you.
That's
uh
funny.
okay. Well, how many do we think there's only going to be one couple that ends up making it through this experience together, or do we think that there's going to be two, maybe even three?
So do you mean
I
like
think
ended
there's
up married
three.
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah. That
together?
that actually say yes. I assume we'll have at least two that go to the altar, but I'm not sure if we're gonna get two that says yes.
Gosh,
I I
I
think
hope
three.
there's, you think three?
Uh,
I think at least two for sure. I think Taylor and Garrett,
uh,
and then I don't know about the others. I really don't like. I,
yeah,
I don't know,
yeah. I mean,
but
I
for
do
sure
think
you think two.
yeah, I think Ashley and Tyler definitely have the chance. Garrett, Taylor, obviously, I think are in my opinion locks. But I don't know. I could still see this just being a one marriage situation. But I would still say likely to, but I can see it still being one.
Yeah, I think more. I'm gonna vote for more.
Gosh, you guys just love, don't you?
I love
Yeah,
love. I'm gonna say at
yes,
least
we do.
two.
It would be going into next episode's territory, but I'm like, no, I think I'm still rooting for one. I see the seeds and I can see it work because I think it'd make an awesome story. It could be me looking for an awesome little love story, but at the same time, I'm like, I got a feeling. My feelings are usually
Same.
wrong, but sometimes they're right,
I can't
and
wait
they're
for
epic when they're right.
I can't wait for the end of the season where we get to talk about and I get a gloat because only one couple gets married. And I
You're
can be
probably
like,
gonna be
I
right.
win.
But
I
how
am
many
so
did
excited.
last season? Let me
There's
think. Because
only one got married last season, but two went to the altar.
okay, I feel like at least I don't know who Marissa's gonna choose, but I feel like Marissa's gonna go to the altar. I think she might get married. My vote is on Marissa and whoever she picks and Taylor. That's my vote.
Okay.
I do think Marissa has a strong possibility.
Yeah.
And I do think Hannah, I think, is the dark horse. I feel like, yes, there's a lot of drama around there, but I think there is going to be a payoff.
I think that's not happening. I think the fact that there is all that drama and she cuts him off, I just think that that's always going to be in the back of Nick's minds. That is just gonna prevent it from getting to the yes.
I don't know. I feel like we all make mistakes, and sometimes you get a wrong read of a person right from the get-go. And like there was something in her, it was actually bothering her that the connection was cut, that she asked to have it restored. I
Mhm.
think there is potential. I
I
think,
like it.
you know, I think there's something there. I don't necessarily know if it's a gut feeling, but I'm like, I'm I'm willing to go down this rabbit hole.
Yeah. All I know is I'm going to have my popcorn ready and I'm going to be, enjoying the roller coaster as much as I can.
I think they might make it to the altar, like,
Mhm.
but I don't think they'll end up getting married.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd say ceiling for them as a couple is altar. Like that's
Yeah,
their best case scenario.
yeah,
I will say so. Alter is like they get there, but they might be like, not really.
They
yeah,
say no.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah. There's several of them
Okay.
that have happened to. They'll actually have they'll pick their dress. They get all the way, all their family comes. And there's
Yeah.
some that you see that like really in previous seasons think they're getting married, and one will say yes and the other say no, and they'll never talk again. Like they're devastated. So
Yeah.
some of them I feel like do talk about it and say, "Hey, this isn't going to work, but let's still date." But a lot of them break up after that, like if they don't agree.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's because if you pull out when you get so close to the wedding where they already are getting like everything prepared for you, they take out some of your how much you make on the show. So at a certain point, you have to you kind of get you feel like you have to go ahead and do it and say no. Otherwise, like you end up losing like an extra 10K of what you could have had if you just went and done the
Yes.
altar. So
Interesting. There's been several that have like had meltdowns after
oh
they
yeah.
were turned down at the altar. So it's always like it's crazy because that's my favorite part of the season because then you're going to see are they really going through with it, and the people that you want to go through when they don't, sometimes it's devastating. Like or when one does and the other doesn't, it's really sad. So it'll be interesting to see who actually does get married.
Yeah. I do have a small confession.
Okay.
During 2020, on Spotify, was a part of something called Blind Dating, which was like a Spotify original. And it was like one girl choosing between two guys, or the other way around, or like, if it's an LGBT group, it'll be like that way. Uh and it was me and some other guy, and this one girl was choosing between of us. The other guy was a bit of a misogynist. Uh he uh he was like, she's like, what's your ideal partner? He's like, women with extremely large breasts. I'm like, I don't know if he was doing it just for the lulz, but like, you know, but she did end up choosing me. We were able to see each other, and you know, I was like, I reached out because they gave us each other's like, like email at the end, and I reached out for an email, and she never responded. And I'm like, what? There was even some things where we like bonded over. Like, she
Yeah.
noticed my Halloween costume and it was like My Hero Academia, and we were bonding over that. So I will say I have felt the sting of like winning one of these shows
Aww.
and not. I will also say this: I had an option of either sticking with it or be on a different episode in the future to choose between two ladies, and I turned that down because I'm like, no, let's explore this. And so, yeah,
Oh, I don't like her already. Don't know her, don't like her. That's me.
Yeah.
Oh well,
what are you
her
gonna do?
loss. Her loss.
What you
uh
gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, that's what you get for following love. Sometimes, it works out. Sometimes you end up, crying in a corner or something.
Oh, Joe hates
I didn't.
love.
I didn't.
Joe's
I
uh,
didn't cry. I just took a
yeah.
very reflective walk, stared at the
Okay.
sun,
Okay.
burned
That's
my
more
retinas.
healthy. Oh, okay. Well.
I'm gonna find you someone to love. I'm
Yeah.
on it now. I feel like I
Yeah.
need to match you with someone. I'm gonna have
Season
to
9,
think on this. I
Ryan
love
Neal
it.
Wayne.
You should. Would you do it?
If I enter my 30s and my dating life has not improved, maybe, but we'll see. That's in the future, so we'll see.
That would
Yeah.
be exciting. I think you should do it.
Yeah.
What about you, Joe?
I think you should never be on Love is Blind. I think that is a terrible decision.
Oh my god.
It's
But
like,
would you ever do it?
oh hell no. Like that sounds like awful. I mean, it's just going through the ringer of that show. I mean, I don't know. I'd rather be on almost any other dating show just because, at least I do think that there's something to, actually seeing each other from the
Well, I mean,
get-go.
yeah, but at the same time, it's like,
Yeah.
but you get to like kind of discuss so much before you even see each other. And I think there is like a merit to that where you get to like really know the person for who they are because like I'm someone where sometimes I don't put hair gel, I don't do this. Sometimes my hair is a mess, it looks crappy, shitty. And like, that might give people a different read. But like, if I do it a little better, or if I wear my Neo jacket out and about, it's like,
Mhm.
oh, this guy looks like a celebrity, knows what he's doing. Or like, but if I go out sometimes with like a hoodie and like don't really do my hair, they might be like, who is this guy? Um, it's like one of
Mhm.
those things where it's like the first impressions of everything. And I think that's what the show was built on. It's like we take that away in the beginning. Obviously, they put it to the
Mhm.
test. I think you would be completely crazy to marry someone that you have never met in person and then realize what they look like right then and there. And I think the
Yeah.
show obviously knew that all over the world. Well, I don't know how it is in other countries, but
Yeah.
like, you
It's
know,
it's actually so funny watching like Love is Blind in Japan because compared to the US, because in like Japan it's like super traditional and it's like you are the love of my life and it's like all this like really sappy stuff, and then like when you see the US it's they're like, girl, I want to get in that ass. Like they're saying stuff like that sometimes. I'm like, oh my gosh. Just totally
Well,
different.
they definitely have, what is it, Love at First Sight, I think, where they do marry unseen, which I think is crazy. So at least here they do date for a little bit and see each other. But Joe, you should definitely do it. You get paid, you might end up with this hot chick, and even if she
Yeah.
doesn't like you, you get a free vacation, you
Yeah,
get paid.
that's
Like,
the whole thing is just get to the vacation and then that's it. It's like
yeah, free vacation paid. And think about it, if you
yeah.
get famous, you could get some deals on the side. Like,
Yeah. And then you
why
can go on
not?
the
And
other
then
Netflix dating shows, Perfect Match. Everyone on Love is Blind ends up going on Perfect Match now. Which I actually really
or
like that show too. That's a good one.
or like a Love Island or one of
Love
those.
Island.
Like some of
Too
them
hot to
end up
handle.
too hard to handle. You could be like, oh, what is the guy's name? From House of Villains. You could end up on it. I'm
Mhm,
gonna look up
yep.
his name because that's gonna drive me crazy.
up on all the reality comp shows.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I will say, I know we're going into a different one, but like I will say, I wish traders would be letting it open up to more people, not just established people, like kind of
Mhm.
like what they did in season one, even if you want like a few here and there, but it does seem like they're just going down this route. It's like this is like the hive where a lot of reality stars go. Um,
Mhm.
but
that is
that
my
also means like
favorite.
we get a solid
Yeah.
cast, but I
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
digress.
I love Traders. It's so good.
It's great.
Last season was so good. Shake is the guy's name, by the way, the one that was on House of Villains. Um, he was so terrible in the pods. He would be like, "So, if we were dating and I wanted to pick you up and put you over my shoulders, could I lift you?" And he was terrible, terrible. Like in the pods, he was terrible.
That sounds like it, yeah.
Yeah, but he did get picked and he got coupled up, but they did not get married. But Nick Lachey did not like him. They got in fact at the reunion he told Nick the only attractive girl that he would be interested in there was Vanessa Lachey. And Nick was like, "Excuse me?" It was priceless. I thought he was going to get beat up on set. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, that's like the worst person that you could say in that scenario because, like, clearly that's nothing's happening there, and you're just pissing off all the girls. You're pissing
Oh,
off
yeah.
Nick Lachey, you
Oh,
know?
yeah. It was hilarious. I was like, oh my gosh. It was crazy.
Yeah,
Some
And it
people
worked.
like
He
that
got on
shock
House of
value.
Villains.
yeah,
Yeah, he got on House of Villains from it. So
I mean, yeah.
exactly. Um, okay, is there anything else that we want to talk about of these first three episodes, or have we covered it all?
I'm really interested to see how this love triangle really resolves, what other couples that we get. Yeah, I'm excited to see what we get. And yeah, we will see you guys later. That's all I really have to say.
same. I can't wait to see the rest of the pairings and like um when they go on their trip, it'll be fun to discuss that because that's usually the juicy part. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, same. I always enjoy the pods. I think the most of the show, just because that's the interesting gimmick, and then it becomes a bit of a typical dating show. The few episodes that follow it. But yeah, I want to see what happens with this love triangle. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's going to do it here for the first episode. And yeah, we will see you all in the next one.
Peace.